I'm a private investigator specializing in catching cheaters. Ask me anything. I'm 27, male, been in the PI business for about a year. Mainly go after unfaithful spouses, per title, also handle parental negligence and the occasional employment fraud. Am I right in assuming that almost everyone who suspects a spouse of cheating is correct? Or do you often investigate only to discover that in fact you can't find any evidence of infidelity? Way off. Probably only 25% of cases I actually find something. Majority of the time, I follow someone around for days, and they're not up to anything suspicious at all. Client still pays.
So a bad PI. Got it.
El Mayo. Okay, dude. I'm on these people wherever they go and whatever they do. Can't manufacture evidence that doesn't exist. So have you ever found someone who wasn't cheating but they were doing something weird or wacky and keeping it from themselves? Oh, I like this question. Unfortunately, nothing too crazy. Just out drinking with their friends is a common one though. There have been a few that I've been sure were up to something, but could never nail down. For instance, a guy said to his wife he had a doctor's appointment at 5 a.m. and I followed him thinking it was a lie, but he actually went to the doctor's office and then went to work.
FYI, he was nailing the doctor.
Possible, but the office was actually open and other patients were there. Have any of the people you've caught cheating been with people with a different sexual orientation? For example, husband suspects wife of cheating, but she was cheating with another woman. That happened once, but we couldn't prove for sure that it was romantic. Looked like it though.
Who cheats more, women or men?
Pretty even to be honest. But female clients are far more likely to be wrong about their suspicions. Followed around a lot of dudes who weren't up to anything. What was the craziest location you found a cheater at? What was the longest distance you've seen one travel to cheat? That being in this field of work make you feel depressed about romantic relationships? Not really any insane locations for me so far. Mostly the usual stuff. Restaurants, bars, hotels, outdoor attractions depending on the season. Furthest I've seen someone travel was a lawyer who lived 4 hours away come to my city for a business conference. Her husband back home hired us because he didn't believe she really had a conference and that she was running around with a coworker who she swore to him wouldn't be there. The conference was real, but I nailed them down together immediately. I wouldn't say it makes me feel depressed individually, but for society in general. I personally just got engaged to someone amazing who I trust 100%. If anything, it makes me grateful for how lucky I got, but a bit melancholy realizing how rare that really is for others.
To someone amazing who I trust 100%. After completing 6 background checks and surveilling them for 86 weeks.
We met before I entered this line of work, LOL.
This lawyer who flew in, how did you track her? Did you literally follow her from the airport or hotel? How did you prove something was going on with the coworker?
Drove in. I knew what hotel she was going to be at, so I waited for her there. After she arrived and checked in, the guy she said not to worry about arrived separate. I hung out in the lobby until they came down together, which I knew they would. They were at the hotel bar all night.
Were you able to get photos of them at each stage? Using what kind of camera?
My phone, mostly by taking selfies over my shoulder while facing away from them. Could you share the not-so-obvious red flags of a cheater or things people miss? They'll usually take overly paranoid steps to keep the affair secret, but it ends up just making them look stupid. Dude was at a restaurant with a mistress once, and from the parking lot, I watched them immediately split off into opposite directions. Neither of them parked at the place itself, but in adjacent lots on opposite sides. I'm sure his wife will be entertained by the video I got of that. What's the quickest turnaround you've had for receiving a job and collecting enough evidence to prove the cheat? And then, what's been your longest so far? How long will you commit to a case before deciding it's not going anywhere? It's been same day before. Usually get hired for 10 to 20 hours of surveillance split up over 1 to 2 weeks. We get paid in advance, so we use all our time regardless, even if it looks like it's not going anywhere. Sometimes people want peace of mind anyway, and the longer we document their activity, the better they'll feel that they're not cheating. How often do you run across people who are convinced their spouses are cheating, but they're truly innocent? My ex-wife probably would have bet her soul I was cheating on her for years. Constantly accused, but I had never once been unfaithful. Harder cross to carry than most people would think. Very hard to prove your innocence to an unreasonable person. Mentioned this on another comment, but a good majority of the time our client is incorrect. And that's even after we filter out truly insane cases by refusing to take them. It's pretty rare, but it feels amazing when you actually get one. Do you have to have some sort of certificate to be a PI? I'm guessing you have some college, maybe depending on where you're from, but is your office at your home or elsewhere? We have no physical office. I do all my prep from home. I have a degree but don't need it. In my state, you need 3 years experience to obtain a license. So for now, I'm operating under my boss's license. After that time, I'll be able to apply for my own. Did you encounter situations where you needed to make some costs to not come off as suspicious? Like something is getting a drink, booking a hotel room, or get a taxi? If so, is that covered by your boss? Usually I get a drink or app at a restaurant. Had to buy tickets to get in an event before. Compensated if I keep the receipt.
I was a server once and I had a PI as a customer. He paid me $20 for each thing I could help him out with on the guy he was watching. $20 for his receipt, $20 for a pic of him in front of the beer cooler, and he left me a $20 tip on like a single beer. It was nice. If he was a good regular, I would have declined, but he was a bit of an ass, so I obliged.
What are the pieces of evidence you gather to be sure to win a case for your client? It's pretty simple. I take photos of whatever they're doing without their knowledge. And if those photos show them engaged in behavior they shouldn't be, the client is satisfied. I am not involved in the legal proceedings, just the collection aspect.
You will almost certainly need to be testifying in court to get those admitted now that deepfakes or AI is so common.
All my pics are GPS and timestamp embedded. U.S. Attorney here. You may absolutely be subpoenaed in the future if you haven't been already. I'd count on it in your line of work. Broadly speaking, in order to admit a photograph into evidence, that requires someone with direct knowledge of that moment in time, you, to testify that the photograph is a true and accurate depiction of the scene in question. GPS and timestamps are helpful, but not sufficient. I have no objection to doing any of that. What's your standard spy kit? And how much of your time is sitting in your car versus being in public looking inconspicuous? Very basic stuff. Digital camera, binoculars, a few different outfits, timestamp camera app on my phone for close quarters. I always start every case in my car, and then it just depends on where they go. If they enter an establishment, I'll have to find my way in. That's pretty dope. Do you have to carry a lot of cash around for slipping to FOH staff, informants, etc.? Or has the trade upgraded to Venmo? Are you packing? Cash is king in case you need to get out of somewhere quickly. You can just leave it on the table. I don't slip anything to anyone, and I'm not packing. I shouldn't put myself in a situation where I'd need to be. Have you ever been caught or suspected by the target you're trailing? I've never cheated, but I have had a partner be very paranoid, and I found out they were basically cheating on me after we broke up. I feel like she would have straight up yelled at someone that was trailing her LOL. I've never been caught, but that's also because I'm cautious. Following someone in their car is the hardest part. Depending on traffic, it's very easy to get burned on the road. If I think they may notice me, I peel off and try again another day. But if you get caught, it's all over. Patience is key. How did you get into this profession? Exited active duty military with absolutely no plan. Literally found this posting on Indeed, LOL. The owner of the firm was a vet too, and we hit it off. Now I'm basically his go-to guy. What combination of factors could a really stealthy cheater use to avoid your capture? Literally, just don't go in public. I can't do surveillance anywhere with a reasonable expectation of privacy. Other than that, you're fair game. Can you give a few details on the employment fraud cases? What was the accused doing? One guy was using family leave to run a side business. Another claimed damages from his former employer, saying he was unemployed and too emotionally distraught to work, and meanwhile was working a new job. I wonder how the FMLA case turned out, because you can work on FMLA leave because the other job doesn't necessarily present the same aggravating issues that the primary job did. It's just dicey. The first and second job are very similar. Or the employee wasn't allowed to have outside employment regardless of FMLA. The guy claimed to be taking his mom to appointments when in reality, he was cutting trees. Do you ever collaborate with the party that hires you? Like, for example, if the wife throws in a hidden GPS tracking device in her husband's trunk, are you allowed to use that info to track him around town? That happens occasionally. Always super helpful when it does. 1. Did you ever got into physical altercations with a suspect or with a bystander that figured you were stalking someone? 2. I saw 25% of your suspects actually cheat. Do you need reasonable suspicions of intercourse to consider this cheating? Have you had any cases where it was a bit more complicated than sex and or full-on mistress kind of stuff? 3. Do you get to figure out who the other person is? My hunch would be an ex for the most part. Would this be correct? Mention this elsewhere, but no, I'm very cautious to avoid detection. It's up to the client and the court to determine their definition of cheating. I don't make any statements about anything, just provide the evidence. Most of the time, it's not even about sex, it's a whole side relationship. I can't prove that someone is having sex, obviously. Usually, I just try to figure out basic information about the other person so I can determine when and where they're likely to meet again. How do you generate sales for yourself? Do you list your services somewhere, or it's word of mouth? I work for a very small firm. Owner handles the business aspect, I just do surveillance, but I'm wanting to learn that side of things soon.
What's the most wholesome story you have about someone whose spouse thought he or she was cheating, but in reality wasn't?
I guess there was this dude who went to an overnight spa resort and turned out to be by himself. Man just wanted some alone time. Great thread. Also, feels like people have watched too much TV and think that your average Joe is taking notes on who is in their orbit every minute of the day. This guy, the PI, is just blending into the background whilst people do what they do. Unless you're a crim or a cop, I doubt you're releasing if someone is following you whether on foot or in the car, especially given he only goes places where there isn't a reasonable expectation of privacy. Question though, how many of the cheaters were nervous or wary whilst in public with their affair partner? Or were they just totally chill? Spot on, dude. Most people are oblivious of their surroundings, which makes my life easy. The average person does not have their head on a swivel. To answer your question, most of the time, they're acting pretty relaxed and at ease, but like I said in another comment, sometimes they take cartoonishly stupid precautions, like parking super far away from each other before meeting up.
Hands down, most hilarious experience?
One lady hired us because her husband was a bum and she wanted to kick him out of the house. The day of the case, he said he got a new job and was on his way to work. I followed him to the liquor store and weed dispensary as soon as they opened. How do you feel about the ethics of your work? Do you feel it's okay to track people? Everything I collect is in public view and therefore fair game. I will say I'm glad I do this as a private individual and not for the government. Have you ever collected evidence that you were sad the client would have to see? Every time I get a catch, of course it's sad. In Canada, I was told that you have to register with local police to inform them that you are observing someone. I'm not sure if that is all jurisdictions in Canada or only for personal injury cases. Is that true where you live? Do people ever call the police on you? I always call the local authorities in advance when I'm planning to be somewhere a while.
Do your clients always believe you when presented with evidence?
Pretty hard to deny a photo or video of someone hugging, kissing, or holding hands. How would I realize someone is investigating me? Not sure, never been caught. What kind of stuff have you been hired to do for parental neglect? Hired by a guy who wanted custody back from his ex-wife because he alleges she's an incompetent drunk. Followed her and the kids to the bowling alley, and she left the driver's side door of her car wide open the entire time she was in there.
Hold up, I was with ya through the whole thread till this. Forgetting to shut a door is sufficient proof that someone is an incompetent drunk incapable of taking care of their children? Or did I misunderstand?
Not sufficient proof in and of itself, but helped substantiate a pattern of behavior the client has already been documenting himself for a long time. Wouldn't it have been better to call the cops for the kid's safety, than just follow her and see it? No, leaving a door open is not grounds for calling the police. I watched carefully that day to make sure nobody tried to steal anything from her car. I would have called the cops if that happened. Not a question, but I always wondered if I was being followed by a PI. I had suffered a severe shoulder injury at work, leaving me unable to work and having to go through workers' comp. While going through work comp stuff, I noticed one day a dark gray Dodge van or SUV was following me everywhere all day. I pay attention to my surroundings due to my upbringing, so I was certain it was the same vehicle, individual. He wore a hat, and even managed to get behind him and get his plate numbers. I carry but didn't want to end up in a situation like that, so I got the cops involved. They caught him and let him go. Didn't explain to me what was happening. Sounds like he sucks. What was the best payoff for your patience after a long bout of waiting? Knew a guy was at a bar somewhere in the city I was in, but not which one. Tried nearly all of them, and was about to give up, but nailed him down with a girl at the very last place I attempted. Have you ever gone into someone's hotel room to plant cameras or mix? Have you ever bribed the desk clerk for check-in info or a room key or even room number? Have you gotten the exterior camera footage of a business to assist you? I probably read too many cheap novels. All of that is highly illegal except asking for exterior footage. What have you learned about yourself? I can be a lot more patient than I ever thought possible.
Have you ever slept with someone you were hired to follow?
No, never. What would you do if someone you were following turned out to be an undercover cop working a case? Probably defer to the authorities, LOL. How does one go about finding a PI in general? What if it's for someone in like a different city or state or something? Do you need to know why the person hired you, or do you just find what you can and report to them? We have a website and stuff, but mostly networking through word of mouth. Yes, we screen our clients strictly to make sure our services are not being used for the wrong reasons.
Did you ever have
Still
the
here?
case where the
Don't
accusing
forget to
person
like
was
and
actually the
subscribe.
cheating one?
No way to find out unless someone else hired us on them. How much do you make per case, or per day? This isn't my main job, and I do it on a case-by-case basis when they come up. $40 an hour when I leave my house to when I get back for the day. Do you have any special equipment, so it's not obvious you're not taking photos? Hidden cameras, long-distance cameras, remote cameras, telescopic lens, digital camera for long distance. If I'm in a restaurant or something, I'll usually turn my phone video camera on and either act like I'm on a call or put it in my shirt pocket with the camera just barely sticking out. You're the professional here, but just an idea. Have you thought of using any of those newer glasses with the low-profile camera embedded in the frame? For example, the Ray-Ban Meta ones. I tend to play it old school, but looking at expanding my arsenal, good idea. What are some things you do for work that I wouldn't think of? Besides sitting in a car with a camera and binoculars, for example. It's literally mostly that. But if someone goes in a building, I have to follow them and set up a position covertly. Are you allowed to put a GPS tracker on the suspected cheater's vehicle? Is that legal? No, but their spouse can feed me the info if they do it. How lucrative is this career for you, or in general on a monthly basis? Do you know how much your boss makes? What are the long-term goals? I fell in love with the Easy Rollins series, a 17-book series about a PI in LA. I would love to try my hand at it one day. Sorry for multiple questions, but any insight would be appreciated. It's a pretty great career so far, but I have a lot to learn. I don't know how much of a cut my boss takes, but what he gives me is more than fair. Ultimately, with a few more years, I'd like to start my own firm or take over a bigger role in the one I'm with. Learn to handle the business aspect. My boss is very supportive of this. How do you ensure you're not caught following someone on foot? Do you hide behind things and peek around like a cartoon character? Best place to hide is plain sight. I've done that a few times, but it's risky. Have you ever been outed while investigating? Like someone or some couple you were watching made you and confronted you? In a second, if I may, have you ever had two halves of the same couple hire you independently and unknowing of the other? Got the first question a lot, but have never been caught. And no on the other question either. You're 27 and have been doing this for a year. My questions are: 1. What is your professional background? 2. Do you consider yourself an expert? 3. Do you plan to pursue this career path for the rest of your life? 1. Army officer. 2. Professional yes, expert not yet. 3. Highly considering it. How do you stay cool when it's 100 degrees outside and you're conducting surveillance from your car for an extended period? Extreme heat and extreme cold are the worst. Usually in the span of an hour, I'll turn my car on for 5 minutes to either run the AC or heat and have to live off of it. I worked a full day in minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit earlier this year. Do you ever get hired by fathers or mothers going through custody battles to investigate the other parent? If so, what are the usual outcomes you've experienced when doing this? Yes, that's fairly common. I'm not involved to the point of seeing the outcome, though.
I had a close friend do this out of college. He did cheating and insurance fraud, hurt, but roofing your house. You said you're in it about a year? Curious if it's changed your view of folks or trust folks less. Buddy had to quit because he was getting too jaded too young, his words. I think he made it about 3 years.
I've definitely become more vigilant of my surroundings, which I consider an asset. I'm not jaded yet. Thank you so much for watching. Write in the comments what you think about the hero of our thread. And don't forget to check out our other videos. See you soon. Hugs, bye.